What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Club 33, a DSA podcast for episode 7. And this week is a pretty jam-packed week of just explosion of information. So, Sky, Juice, how you guys doing this week? How has DSA treated you this week?
Man, I'm hyped. I'm hyped.
Right?
We got some sick patch notes that dropped like about 30 minutes ago. And yeah, excited to talk with you guys.
Yeah, I'm good. I even think before the patch notes, we had a pretty good lineup for tonight. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun episode. I'm excited.
So the first thing that we saw, obviously, is that um, the patch notes obviously was pretty big, but yesterday, or was it maybe the day before, we saw EA acquire Glue. And I made a video about this, so I'll keep my comments for the end of this, but I want to know, Sky, you want to take it first? What are your initial thoughts on this acquisition and what it can do for the game going forward?
Yeah, for me, this is a big old question mark. As most people in gaming know, EA is kind of famous for monetizing games to an obscene level. But they have got a lot of backlash from that. And so maybe they're looking to change their ways and be a little less ridiculous. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're looking to change how Glue operates a lot. Maybe they're not. So ultimately, we are going to see a higher quality of content for sure, I think, because they're going to have the financial backing. But the question is, will a over monetization come with that or not?
Yeah. So for me, like, look, if EA can somehow not stay out of Glue's business, I don't know if that's even possible, but if they can just let Glue do their own thing and keep doing their own thing, that's awesome. We won't know exactly. It's not like when this acquirement goes through in June that there's going to be like a light switch that gets flipped and things are going to be like really different. I think this is going to be a long-term play if we do see any changes or any differences compared to like the way they view the community or just the way the game just works in general. This is going to be a long-term thing. It's not like we're going to see anything happen right away. I will be honest though, like when I first read the news, I kind of had that like stink face or like bad taste in my mouth just because look, I've been gaming my whole life and I grew up playing a lot of EA games. Like I played a lot of Madden growing up and like early Madden was really amazing, but then like later Madden is not that good. Even later FIFA is not that good because they started going into like ultimate teams, which is like pay to win models where you're there's loot crates for like packs for players and stuff like that. So Madden has not been the same since when I was a kid. What else? The Sims has changed over time. The EA did the Sims. Sims 3 was amazing, but when Sims 4 came out, very pay to win. They introduced a lot of bundles, which were introduced in the original pack. So it's like you're spending like 14, 15 bucks for extra stuff. The whole Battlefield 2 stuff was obviously crazy with the implemented of loot boxes, and Vader and Luke Skywalker weren't even pretty much available at the start. You had to put a ton of hours into the game in order to even play those characters and unlock them. Mass Effect, I know it's not EA, it's also BioWare, but Mass Effect Andromeda was a huge letdown for me. I love the original 3 Mass Effects, 2 in particular. Andromeda was a mess, didn't work for me. And then finally, Anthem. Like EA's meeting with BioWare this week to discuss if Anthem's even going to be a game, if they're going to continue working on it. So the problem is like I just don't hope. I hope that Glue can keep doing their thing. They can keep supporting the community, doing what they're doing. But yeah, EA has made a lot of questionable decisions and plays that I haven't really liked a lot. So yeah, I think one positive thing was Jedi Fallen Order. So they kind of stayed out of Respawn's way, and Fallen Order is considered a Game of the Year contender in at least 2019. So I haven't played it personally, but I think the game is fantastic. So yeah, if they can just do their own thing and improve the marketing, improve the advertising, and support Glue with financial support, then I think it could be a good move. But yeah, it's a little tricky. I haven't been the biggest fan of EA lately.
Yeah, and I made my video yesterday, and the intro obviously was a big meme, right? But when I look at this in the big picture of things, and I'm not, I'll say it. Maelstrom kind of gave a good breakdown of the logistics of it on his server, and basically they have until I think the end of Q2 is the projected final acquisition type of materials and I think they have until like the end of August to back out and pay like several hundreds of million or a couple dozen million to back out of the deal, somewhere along those lines. So they still can if they want to back out potentially, but there is benefits of them joining in this partnership, this acquisition. They obviously will get more financial backing and stability, but EA doesn't have the most pretty track record in terms of thinking of the consumer. I guess that's the best way to say it. So I'm very optimistically cautious about them entering this partnership. I really hope that they don't lose their creativity side and that they do maintain what they are doing right now, and that the content doesn't slow down, because we look at something like Swaga. They had their first raid come out in 2016, their second raid came out in 2016, no raid in 2017, a raid 2018, no raid 2019, a rework of a raid in 2020, and nothing yet. But they are very good at making bundles, and it's very much more pay to win. At least many other Swaga players have told me that early on, especially, and into today as well. And I will say, overall, EA has gotten better in terms of trying to understand that we're not just money making machines for them, that there's the consumer can only take so much issues with how EA runs their company. So I will say, like, for instance, Battlefront 2, when it came out in 2017, it was really bad, and then 2 years later they got better, but they had to really rework how they made that game. And so now the game is beloved by most of the community, but it took a while for them to rebrand their image basically with that game. So I do have a lot of concerns with EA and their whole acquisition. There's like Juice and Sky, but I do see there is positives on it as well. But do you guys have anything else that I said that maybe sparked some interest in the topic?
I was just gonna just a quote a quick article that, because I was doing a lot of reading on this too,
Mm-hmm.
after the purchase was made. But I think this is kind of just a self-explanatory thing. It's a couple sentences from a GameSpot. For EA, this deal is all about making more money from microtransactions, which is a major point of focus for the company as it builds out its live service portfolio. So, I'm thinking, like I said, it's probably just to acquire a company to build the portfolio, to get another mobile developer where, yes, it relies heavily on microtransactions. To be honest with you, like, that's kind of strategic nowadays. Like, you want to go for companies, you want to have a lot of game developers that rely on microtransactions, even if you disagree with it or not. It's a high damn moneymaker. So I mean, it's a strategic move on EA's end. I'm just hoping, like I said before, like, we still see the same stuff that Glue's doing, and they EA just has their name on it basically.
Yeah, they were actually trying to acquire Pop Games, which has like Plants vs Zombies back in 2016, but
Yeah.
Take Two beat them to it, or just gave a better offer. So this was their kind of way to dive in there, because DSA, I haven't been able to check the earnings report for Glue, which just came out the other day. But so I don't know exactly what the bookings were in terms of money generated from DSA, but if we can make more noise, if the whales can make more noise, then maybe we'll have a better say in, in what happens in the game if we generate them a lot of money. But right now I think DSA is like, I don't know if it's at the tippy top of their money making, but I don't believe so. I believe other games that they have, such as I think Covet Fashion and other games, are actually making them more money. But DSA, I believe, is the newest one out of all of them. So that's I well, I used to be a shareholder of Glue because yesterday I just sold all my holdings because they were gonna do like a stock buyback type of thing. So I was like, may as well just sell it while it's high. So that's
Yeah.
that's what I did. But yeah, I'm very
Yeah, in case if you don't know, Glue makes many of other games aside from DSA.
yeah,
Many others.
like all those like Cabela like hunting games. Those are all now under Glue, which is for at least for mobile, which is really interesting. Just like, oh, okay, because that's a pretty classic game series too as well. Um,
But my main thing question before you move on, Dragon, I'd asked you this earlier. Like, what did EA always own Capital Games at the very beginning?
That's
Do you
a
know that?
good question. From what I've seen, um, I haven't, well, what I've wikied at least. Capital Games has never been on its 2 feet from what I remember seeing. I could be completely 100% wrong. And I
Okay.
think they could have been a small developer, and basically EA just, acquired them, and they just became specifically the developers for Capital Games. I believe that is probably the closest to the truth. Again, 100% could
Yeah.
be wrong, but I think that's what I saw.
Well, because I
The
played
reason why I asked is
Swogga
oh,
when it
sorry, Sky.
released. Oh, you're good. I played Swogga when it released, and I do remember seeing that EA logo. And
Hmm.
also at the time it released, EA was the sole company that was allowed to make Star Wars video games, right? So I think
Yeah.
um, even if it wasn't like I don't know the nitty gritty of it, but even logically, even if it wasn't owned by EA at the time, I think it had to have been a team up since EA had the exclusive deal with Lucasfilms.
I know on the website
Well,
they
my
are
only
under
question
them.
why I asked that to you, Dragon, is because like when the stuff was going down last year, where like I know this is we're not talking about Swugga that much, but I think it's interesting because at least EA is the publisher too. But um, like when the stuff was going down, like Arnold and like uh the cheaters were getting to pick when their bans were and things like that. Like, was that all on Capital Games' decision to make those calls, or was like EA going, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" Like, were they even watching them, or was it all that's all Capital Games doing? Or like, you know how Capital Games isn't really involved with the community. I don't even know if there's an actual Swugga Discord out there. I don't think there is. But is that more of Capital Games, or is that EA, or just EA's not even involved with that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Capital Games. And I guess one thing I will say is that Swaga doesn't have any official Twitter. It doesn't have an official Discord. It's just its forums on the EA Capital Games website. So there, in terms of community outreach compared to DSA, it's very poor. Capital Games at one point, until I think the time you're talking about, the issue you're talking about, did give out test accounts. So
Yeah.
that was one thing that kind of intrigued me about this acquisition. Like maybe possibly EA could push them to do some test accounts and give it to some content creators, possibly just wink wink nudge nudge, and I think that would be pretty cool as well. On the order of topics, Scott, I mean, Juice, it is time for Who Am I? So, who is it this week? We will find out.
Well, let me just tell you and just ruin
Yeah.
the whole game after the work I put into this week. All right. So
Jeez,
if you're
Dragon.
new to the podcast, if you're watching live on Twitch, also if you're watching later on YouTube, put in your guess down in the comments below. Just try not to read any of the comments before you do it. Make it fun for yourself. So I'm going to be asking 20 questions, and starting with one, they'll be gradually pretty hard. Then they're going to get easier as we go. You have one guess to guess the DSA character that I'm thinking about. You only have one guess, and you choose when you want to make your guess. If you're watching live, just type it in Twitch chat. And if you are Sky or Dragon, message them to me individually. And then if you get out the first and you get the right answer, obviously you win. But you can also wait till maybe question 15 or 16, all the way through 20, so you guaranteed to get the right answer. So put some strategy behind it based on when you want to get out, but you only have one guess. Don't spam Woody. I see you already.
Speed is king, guys. It's all about who gets it first. I don't even
Yeah.
know about the points. I'm all about beating Dragon. That's the key to this.
Right. And I don't know if you guys were watching. I told Twitch chat earlier, I'm gonna be watching your eyes this week. Let's see if your eyes wander over to Twitch chat this week. Dragon Slayo games. Let's see if
I,
that happens this week.
no, it never.
Look
I'm
at he
never.
sounds all guilty already.
I'm
All right, you
not.
guys ready to go?
I have
Look,
2 screens. Yes, I'm ready to go. I have 2 screens.
yeah, I'm all good.
All right, watch the eyes. Okay, this is a DSA character, by the way. There's gonna be a mix between DSA questions and movie questions. The current record is Sky High fan with 2 wins, Dragon Slay with 1. Are we ready, boys?
Go.
Let's do
Question
it.
number 1. My Disney film has an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. Question 2. My film's director went on to write the film Chicken Little. Question 3. My character has the ability to heal and restore health in DSA? Question 4. My voice actor from the Disney film also acted in a Marvel production. Question 5. My film is often described as a Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale, but there's no actual connection. Question 6. My character's role in DSA is defense. Question 7. You can purchase my character's tokens in one of the exchanges. Question 8. All of my character specials cost 4 or higher amount of magic to use. Question 9. My character can be used in Tower 3. Question 10. My character has the ability to cleanse a teammate. Question 11. I am a kingdom character. Question 12. I wear a hat in DSA. Sky is out on question 12. Question 13. My character is considered an antagonist, but labeled as a hero in DSA. Dragon rubbing the chin, just hoping it pops in his head. Question 14. My character has the ability to reduce a teammate's cooldown. Question 15. I like to cook in my Disney film. Question 16. Dragon is out at question 15. Question 16. I can inflict blind to target opponents. Question 17. I starred with another character from my same Disney movie in the sitcom Rules of Engagement. Question 18. My character got a direct-to-video sequel in 2005. Uh-oh, Dragon. Question 19. My character is rarely used in DSA. In question 20, I'd like to communicate with woodland animals, especially Bucky the squirrel.
Squeak, squeakity, squeak, squeaking.
Squeak, squeakity, squeak. Let's recap this. Sky was out first.
Mine was
Sky High
completely
sent me a
wrong.
private DM. Sky sent me Kronk. Sky High fan is correct.
I got mine completely wrong.
Oh, no.
Dragon sent me a question. I
no.
believe it was at question 15. I like to cook. Dragon's guess is Manticore. Incorrect.
Yeah, oh.
Manticore likes to cook, but Manticore is not a kingdom character, right?
Oh shoot,
She's
that's
mythical.
right.
Manticore Onward came out after Chicken Little was my big thing.
But let's
I
go up to Twitch
know.
chat really quick before we end this.
Steve won. Steve, because after I sent you mine, I looked at the chat to see if I was the first or not.
Yeah.
And Steve was ahead of me.
Steve got out at like question 6 or 7, super early.
Yeah.
He said Kronk. Steve, you're correct, dude. You won. I don't know how you got that so quick. I don't know which one gave it away. And then Valor got out at Kronk too at the very end. But yeah, My voice actor also acted in a Marvel production. He was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Emperor's New Groove is considered as described as a Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale, but there's no connection. Kronk is a defense character. You can purchase Kronk in Sorcerer's Tournament
That was the big one.
exchange. Kronk is considered an antagonist because he works with Yzma to kill Kronk, but he's labeled as a hero. He's a chef in the movie a little bit. He can reduce teammates' cooldowns. He can inflict blind. He starred with David Spade, who played Kronk in Rules of Engagement, which is a funny show, actually, by the way, if you've never seen it. He got a direct sequel, Kronk's New Groove, and then he's rarely used in DSA, and he communicates with Bucky the Squirrel.
Yeah, I've spent
Nice
so
job,
much
Sky. That's
time
going to put
lately-
you. Oh, go ahead.
I've spent so much time lately looking at exchanges.
Ah.
Like, so much time because I've just my infographics.
I was gonna put Sorcerer Tournament Exchange, but that would have been. I could
that
put
would've
that
been
at
too
the
easy
end. That
for
would have
me,
been way
yeah.
too obvious.
I-
Sky's gonna take a 3-1 lead in front of Dragon Slay.
I
Dragon,
feel
need
so
you to pick a-
embarrassed.
Yeah,
my.
you guessed a mythical.
No,
Nice job. I think last week you guys got out super early, so I tried to make it a little bit harder. Hopefully, it wasn't
Yeah.
impossible.
no, this
But
this one was really difficult for me.
it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I
I'm
okay, I
trying to
haven't
pick
watched it since
characters
I was
like
a kid.
that we use as well. I'm not just gonna try to pick random characters like that no one plays, like Horn King and Kronk, and I had Syndrome another week as well. But
Mhm.
yeah, that is Disney DSA. Who am I? Kronk was this week. Next week or not? 2 weeks from now, I will have another one set up for you all. Buckle in, Dragon. You got some catch up to do.
I need to not embarrass myself next time.
Yeah, actually, I don't think I've ever gone up against a Kronk in a PvP match ever. Has anyone ever gone up against a Kronk?
Long time ago, long time. It was so fun. I was like, "Hey, look, someone's actually using Kronk," and then he was gone pretty fast. So.
I think the only time I've seen him is in like a club dungeon or a tower.
Oh yeah, he's in there too. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played against him I think first couple weeks in PvP once, and then it's been since then.
Because doesn't he do like push-ups or something like that when he does his
he
passive?
does.
Yeah.
He does some pretty funny animations. I'll say that for sure.
His animations, yeah, they're fantastic. But
Nice.
that's about all that's fantastic about it.
Well, cool. Thanks for playing. Hope you enjoyed the game.
Yeah.
And if you're watching on YouTube, then join us live on Twitch next time. All right. Go ahead, Dragon.
So I'm going to derail for a second. I'm wondering this because we're talking about Kronk, right? So are you guys hoarders in Sorcerer's Tournament, or do you guys actually spend even though the characters aren't usable?
I spend because I've done the calculations to see how much is worth hoarding, and the answer is not that much because you have to wait for refreshes, and while you're waiting for those refreshes, you're going to be still acquiring tokens. So I don't hoard that much.
But you Juice?
I'm a hoarder. I'm a hoarder. I've been hoarding. I hoard up to the first time I hoard, I went to 1.4 mil or 1.3 mil. Then I started spending. I got Horn King to 7-star. I got Hades to 7-star. I got who I can't remember one or two more characters, and then I started hoarding again. Just a chance that they swap the exchange up, or if they introduce some type of currency exchange. I don't think they will, but who knows? And we'll see what happens. I know eventually maybe it'll probably be worth spending it just for a 7-star currency and things like that. But yes, I've been hoarding.
I am definitely a hoarder. I mean, not a hoarder, a collector. So
yeah,
I don't hoard. I mean, my goal is, I think about it as efficiency. It's like, well, sure, a new character could come along. That's true. But what if it's I don't know, a Beauty and the Beast character or a Big Hero 6 character and I already have them 7-starred? Then it doesn't really matter. So I'm I bet my thing is I want to farm everyone here before they change it up so that you never know. Kronk could get a rework. Facilier could get a rework. Tank with Peter Pan get a rework. So that's just my whole thing. I know people have different viewpoints on it. I just think about it I'm wasting if I'm not spending it.
See, the thing that got me. Oh, go ahead, Sai. I'm sorry.
It's about, I think, just over 300k. That's worth hoarding if you want to buy a specific character that could potentially be added. It's been quite a while since I did the math, probably 6 months. But
Nice.
yeah, it's about around 300k is if you hit all 4 shops a day and use your refresh if you have 300k, you'll be able to max it at the fastest speed. If you're hitting like a top 5 or 10, I think I did in Arena.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say is like I wouldn't be hoarding if it wasn't for the Frozen event, because as soon as they stuck Anna into the tournament, I was like, oh, this is incredible. They may do this again, and they haven't done it. And I'm like, maybe that false hope will finally they'll put someone in there, or they'll swap it up. But you
Months
know,
later.
I think a lot of beta players are, I don't know if beta players are hoarding or they're just spending for straight out 7-star currency. I'm not really sure what they're doing, but
I would think they're
What I've
done
seen,
already.
that's what they're doing. Yeah, they just spend for the 7-star.
Hercules is coming to the game, and just the like 20 minutes ago patch notes that just came in, and luckily Sky copied and pasted it here. But we do have a lot of good things coming in here. Pegasus and Hermes are entering the arena. Head to the campaign to start earning those tokens. So, I guess I'll just get my 2 cents on this. I'm happy that at least one character is in Grand Campaign, because Grand Campaign obviously is a very it's like my favorite place to farm because it's pretty simple. And you're not limited to the amount of attempts you have in a day, so I like that. And I kind of like how they brought in Hermes. I was not expecting Hermes. I know Sky, I think, talked about in a stream, and then we were like, oh, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't, and then lo and behold, here's Hermes. So I'm guessing the team's gonna be Hermes, Pegasus, Meg, Phil, and Zeus. I'm guessing that's gonna
Yeah,
be the team.
fair guess.
So and last point here for me is, I think we're gonna finally get like a 6 event rotation for legendaries, and it's after Hercules. I think it's gonna be Sensational Six Part 1, followed by 2, Frozen, Baymax, Beast, and then background with Hercules. So that's my take on it. So Juice, you want to take off on this one?
yeah, I mean, this reminds me a little bit about. This reminds me of, I'll talk about on stream a little bit. It reminds me of Frozen when Kristoff and Sven came out before the other characters. Lumiere and Cogsworth came out before, so they're kind of breaking it up a little bit. I'm really intrigued by the speedy support that's coming from Hermes. Who knows how fast he's going to be? I'm also intrigued by Hermes as well, just because he kind of reminds me how, like, when Cobra Bubbles was put in the game. Like, I wasn't expecting Cobra Bubbles to be in the game for some reason. Like, I was expecting maybe Lilo and Stitch and maybe Gantu, but not Bubbles for some reason. I don't know why. But it's kind of an odd pick, but I think it's really cool. I think he's going to look really cool. And then Pegasus, the last part of the description seems pretty intriguing, where turning the tide or turning the battle. I can't remember exactly what it says, quote, but yeah, we'll have to see. Once the kits are actually in the game, we'll take a look at it. But I am curious about the speed. It's something to definitely keep an eye on, especially if all the characters have haste at the start. That's starting to become very meta, where characters are outspeeding Big Hero 6 and stuff too. I'm sure that a lot of those Hercules characters will probably have them, so they can outspeed Big Hero 6 and the current hero stuff. So yeah, I'm intrigued. I definitely love Hercules. It's one of my favorite Disney films. It's going to be hard not to resist spending a lot on this team, but we'll have to take a look first, analyze them, and then we'll be good to go.
Sky?
Yeah. I'm really intrigued by this release. This is something that a lot of people have been really hyped for a long time. We saw Miguel come out, and the lead, assuming all these characters are mythical at least, the lead for this Hercules team is going to have to be pretty damn good to be better than Miguel's. So I think if we do see a Hercules team, there's a good chance Miguel will be the lead, and you'll be swapping out 2 of the characters. We were talking earlier about speedy support is it's a really scary thing to see, because we all think of Hero, we all think of Bubbles, some of these really fast characters that are supports that dominate the game. Something I could see is with Hermes, we don't have his full kit yet, but they mention quantity over quality offense effects, and a team archetype that we haven't seen in DSA yet is like a Alpha Strike, like mass offense up AoE team. There's a lot of good sources of offense up, or crit power, or crit chance, or auto crit, but none of them really are AoE effects. They don't affect multiple characters, so the whole quantity over quality thing makes me think that there's going to be masses of either offense up or crit chance, crit damage, auto crit. So that's Hermes is scaring me. I'm gonna say that. Just there's a lot of buzzwords that are really strong effects in his description, but again, we'll have to see. And then I like Pegasus because I think tanks are really hard for DSA to make right now because they made 2 legendary tanks with Beast and Baymax. So I think it's really hard to justify running a tank over those 2 that are more traditional styles of Beast being a traditional off tank and Baymax being a traditional tank healer. So I like that Pegasus is going to be kind of strange because the alternative to that is to just make him somehow better than Baymax or Beast, 2 of the best characters in the game. So yeah, I like the release so far.
What do you guys think? I mean, obviously, I think Hercules is going to be an offensive role once he enters the game. But do you think it's going to follow the tradition where this is going to be the next meta team, or at least have an impact in the game, major impact?
It's an interesting question. I think the last 2 legendary events actually didn't follow that suit, right? Mickey, other than defense, Sensational Six, Mickey is the one that's become wildly meta, while Donald, Daisy are kind of off meta.
Mm-hmm.
And on defense, they're insane, but that's a different story. And then obviously Beauty and the Beast, we have Belle and Beast being solid S tier characters, and then Maurice being okay, and everyone else being trash. So it'll be interesting if this is a big Hero 6 meta sweep, or if this is a, oh yeah, those 2 characters are good. So I'm intrigued. Could go either way.
Yeah. And I think Sky makes the best point regarding the leaderships. So like, if Miguel's leadership is the one to use compared to whether Herc gets one or Meg gets one, like, then I don't know. I don't exactly know if it's going to be kind of the big Hero 6 killer. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Herc is the best guy. He doesn't benefit too much. He's just strong at the start. He has a lot of speed off the start, and you plug him in with Beast and Baymax and Mickey. It's just a plug-in of legendaries. That's what I would expect to probably see. But like I said, isn't Miguel's leadership bonus speed based on encore notes? I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. Unless, like I said before, unless the Hercules characters get haste to start off with, they can outspeed Big Hero 6 that way. But if they don't have that, then you're going to really depend on Miguel's leadership, because they could turn into another like Sensational 6 team where they're just too slow to even kind of keep going. Even though there's some type of catch up mechanics with Donald and Mickey, but yeah, I wouldn't expect them to do that though.
I mean, it's pretty cool because, okay, so Mickey and that Sensational Six team, obviously, their niche is defense, and they definitely established that and made that totally true. Because if you've ever gone against a team like in Sorcerer's Tournament or in Club Conquest, they're a very difficult team to get around. Unless you can think of max cleansing with Baymax, maybe that's one way to get around them. But regardless of that, they're still a really good defensive unit. But I was thinking for that Hercules team, I don't know, you might think this is weird or something, but I think she could possibly have 2 leads, one for villains and one for heroes, because at least for part of the film, she was kind of working with Hades and stuff, so she could be a groundbreaking character and have 2 leads, just like Mickey. Or some of these characters have like specific leads with specific factions, right? So where it's almost like split. So I think she could really be one that could go for both heroes and villains. So I kind of would see some type of hybrid. I know Chad would probably think it's kind of crazy, but it would be a possibility.
That's a super cool mechanic. I'd love if they'd added that.
The thing I'm most worried about with Hercules is, in the movie when Herc gets all like he gets that like gold aura, I'm worried about him
Yeah.
getting like invulnerability a lot. He's able to get invulnerability somehow, and all of a sudden
Empowered.
you have Hermes, which is doing a lot of buffs, and like all it takes is for Herc to get crit auto crit or attack up, and then all of a sudden Herc is the damage dealer. He has invulnerability. You can't silence him. You can't purge him, and then he just starts wrecking your team. So I don't know if that's going to be a mechanic, but if he's the main guy, he's going to be strong. He's going to feel strong just like Beast does. So that could be some type of crazy mechanic where he's pretty much unkillable if he gets invulnerability.
Yeah, that could be cool. Where it's kind of like similar to Donald, where he goes red, where Herc goes God mode.
Yeah.
I'll say.
But other stuff on the patch notes here. Mother Knows Best event is coming, so I think this is like it's been a while since we had a character have their own event that's
Mhm.
not legendary. So I welcome it. Well, technically Rapunzel, that's a tower event, but like a separate like Gizmo Duck type event, it's a little bit different. Rapunzel pass holder, Lunar New Year celebration. Will we see a Mulan event? So you never know. That
I
could be.
could see.
I could see it. And the last thing here that's kind of makes me wonder. It says dynamic duos when soon. That makes me think. Is it like a new game mode where you just go and duos, or they're gonna like have like modified characters to be just duos like Woody and Buzz, or something like that. So, what do you guys think about this?
Yeah, I see kind
Go
of
first, guy.
3 different likely avenues of what dynamic duos mean. And a little bit Juice actually just talked about it on stream. And so the first one is PvP duos. So 2v2, 2 players work together against 2 other players. Who knows how many characters they get? If it's a full 10v10 seems a little absurd, so you'd probably limit it somehow. The other option is 2v2, as in, excuse me, as in you only get 2 characters. I see this being really problematic, and I hope it's not the case, because spoiler alert, you should run Hero Zerg. Uh, if that's the case, you
Yeah.
literally kill 2 people with Zerg and win. That'd be so dumb. Uh, but and then the third one would be like kind of like you were saying, just added synergy to characters. Where it's almost like they get certain characters get added ability that's only activated when they're paired with X character. So who knows? Who knows? But I'm excited for any type of addition.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like the if it's potential PvP duos, like maybe it's limited characters, so there's not like 12. Like, look, you bring your own team, that's 10 per team, so that's 10v10. That's just way too much going on. Maybe it's 4v4 or it's 4 characters versus 4. Maybe you pick 2. Maybe it's something different. Maybe it's PvE based. Maybe it's you're going against AI. I don't know what to expect. Glue said they're trying to work on more PvP modes and things like that. If so, do they have to work on matchmaking? Maybe they don't make it. They don't let you pair up with a friend. Maybe you just do battle and it pairs you up with someone automatically. That could be kind of difficult. Yeah, I see you're scratching your face. That's something that could be kind of sucky. I'm not really sure, but I'm always a fan of new game modes, and if they try, that's fine. If it flops, I'm also fine with that. But yeah, it's going to be tricky because PvP is definitely crazy right now. They didn't talk about the Fairy Slumber stuff, which is coming. So, with that still going on, it's going to be tricky to kind of evaluate that. And then, yeah, with Hercules coming out as well. So I'm always down for the new game modes, and yeah, we'll see. Curious.
I'm definitely pumped for like another team coming in. Um, I will be honest, I did whale out recently to play some catch up, but Juice is shaking his head. But hey, Tapjoy, great guys over there helping me out big time.
Yay.
So they were able to make sure I was able to whale out efficiently. So I was really happy about that. And Sky, what time is it?
Oh, you know what time it is, baby. Sky High efficiency time.
Exactly.
Just the tip with Sky High.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Take it away, bud.
But yeah, so today I have 2 tips and one with infographic and one that's more of just an opinion philosophy situation that I've gone over a little bit in the past, but I kind of have more thoughts on it now. So Juice, when you can, if you could pull up that infographic.
Good to go.
Perfect. So the first one is on the Mother Knows Best event coming that you get Mother Gothel tokens. It's going to be Gizmo Duck style, so 1 character, 1 event, not multiple sections, not multiple characters. It's going to require Wilds characters, and this has all been data mined since before these patch notes. So it is pretty, it's not 100%, but it's pretty dang close to set in stone. You see it's literally just a copy paste of Gizmo Duck, where the Wilds characters is going to equal or going to be equal to the star level until you get to 5-star, where it's going to go up from there until you get to 7-star, and then having 2 extra levels, I'll say, at 6 or gear tier 6 and gear tier 7. The efficiency in here is just getting your wilds up and seeing what characters you can get up in time. Maybe you have 4 gear tier 6 characters and it's worth bringing one up. Maybe a lot of the big one I think is Mordu. I think so many people have extra Sorcerer's Tournament exchange tokens. So I think Mordu is a pretty easy character to just buy from there and work on getting up for that event to kind of get the most value out of it, because there's going to be a good amount of gear involved in this event too. So you want to not only take advantage of it to start unlocking Gothel, but also take advantage of it to get that gear.
I have a question really quick.
What's up?
If it's hard to tell because we don't know what the kit's yet, but like if when the Hercules stuff gets released and it seems just blown away, would you probably rather spend your time doing those, like that event, rather than spending energy and tokens on the wild stuff?
Yeah, it all depends on what you're going for, and that's kind of going along with my second tip. But the idea behind this is you're using resources that you have excess of, right? That's why I'm really saying Mordu is the character you want to work on, because I consider Sorcerer's Tournament characters borderline free right now, because everyone has such an excess of tokens that's been playing a while. So you might not want to use your grand energy or your standard energy on these, but it is pretty valid to, not prioritize this, but see what you can easily obtain and obtain it easily, right? And my second tip is we're going to talk about legendary events again.
Yes.
And what is worth it. So with legendary events of this kind, what I mean is the kind where we are seeing the characters released ahead of time, like Beauty and the Beast, like Frozen, and similar but not exactly Big Hero 6. We've always had double drops, and a lot of people are kind of unsure on how they want to utilize these. And I used to have the idea of you want to go for 5-star or 7-star, but I've actually kind of, with Beauty and the Beast, it kind of made me think a lot. I ended up going for 6-star because I didn't have the gear. So now I kind of have a reformed opinion after I did go for 6-star Beast last time. And that's the first option is you whale the heck out and you go for 7-star. Technically, if you are with double drops, if you do 50 gem node refreshes and 100 gem energy, or up to 100 energy or 100 gem energy refreshes, you will get positive value compared to the premium exchange. So I think it'll be around 40 something gems each. But like, I view that as a net positive. So the first recommendation I have for farming, if you want to farm these Hercules characters, is to fully utilize double drops, but don't go for any specific star level. This is not going to benefit you immediately, but this is going to make your farming path in the future much more direct and much easier to handle. And you're not going to have this rush of, oh shoot, I have 6 characters in grand and 8 characters in standard nodes that I have to farm. So I'm kind of scrapping the idea of going for 5-star. I think 5-star characters are trash unless they're supports or Ursula. So I think, the first one, just fully utilize that. On the double drops, use those 100 and those 200 gem refreshes for grand energy, and use those 50 gem nodes and 100 energy. And then the second one, whaling on going 7-star, that's a no-brainer. That's obviously good. If you deem it worth it. And the big question there, if it's worth it or not, unless you are a mega whale and you spend money and you've made up your mind you're gonna go for the legendary, is cool. But the biggest thing for me with these events is actually has turned into the gold and the gear grind, because I think my sensational 6 is already up a little, and I did the math. I'll need 13 million gold to get them all up and geared,
Jeez.
with not even counting the gear gold. So I'm gonna need like you're talking about like 15 million, probably 15 million gold plus a bunch of gear to get the 7-star the first run, and that's the minimum requirements. You're probably gonna have to work on them farther than that because the legendaries are normally too hard to beat with on the first pass at the bare minimum requirements. So uh, if you decide to whale smart. If you decide to go for kind of what I was talking about with the buy tokens at a good deal to get the legendary the second pass, cool. Uh, or you can just take advantage of the double drops and not spend. That's cool. But I think you kind of have two good investment levels, and I would utilize one of those and kind of not get distracted, if that makes sense.
And I mean, those are great numbers to put in perspective. Because when I wailed out, I just was like, I didn't pay attention. I just, I
Yeah.
was just like, I'm just gonna go for it. But
But you were going for 7-star, right? So that makes
yeah,
sense.
because I mean, let's be honest. Where we're at in the game, if we don't get that character to 7 stars, um, it's not that useful. I mean, you
Yeah,
can,
it's Ursula or nothing.
yeah, it's basically, yeah, Ursula for some odd reason. Yes, she works when but she has to be like gear tier 8. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
She has to be 5 stars and gear tier 8, and maybe that's the thing. If you want to get a character usable at 5 stars, you will have to gear tier 8 them. But ever since I started that free to play account, which I've neglected for a couple days, um, I have really changed my viewpoint on the whole legendary farming because I was like, you know, 7 stars or bust. Like, don't even try and do it unless you can't 7-star the characters. But now I totally see the perspective like, oh, I'm never gonna unlock this character if I don't even get it to 5 stars. I'm not gonna have a good team unless I get the 5 stars. So now I understand the point of why people will do like 5-star hero, 5-star Gogo, 5-star Fred, and 5-star everyone else before they move on to the next grouping, just to make sure they're ready for it. You know. So I can kind of I don't like, for me at the where I'm at in the game, that won't work. But if you're like more mid game, early game, yes, that will work for you. I will guarantee you that will work for you. So when it comes to like farming in your newer player, for instance, yeah, it's a little different. I totally can see the difference now. Because I guess, once you're an end game player, you just kind of forget those things that happen on like mid game. So
Yeah.
I'm glad I started the free to play account because now I can really relate to the free to play community a lot better, obviously, than before. So
What I would be wary of with what you're talking about is if the team is more like Beauty and the Beast, or Frozen, where they're really only there for the legendary for the most part. Yeah, yeah, Belle's really good. Yeah, Anna's pretty good. But if you do that strategy with a team like that, uh, it's really not going to work out. You have to do that with more of a style legendary like Big Hero 6. So if this ends up being a powerhouse legendary team, that could work for new players. But if it doesn't, I think it'd actually be a pretty big punish.
I can see that.
The two things I was gonna bring up is like, um, are any of you guys gonna kind of sit back and wait until her comes out to like determine whether you keep going for wilds or not, or based on what legendary event you're going on? I know Dragon, you said you're working on Sensational Six to possibly unlock Mickey on the next pass. Um, like it's kind of interesting because like say Hercules is insanely good, which I probably would expect him to be. Like, look, I am far from Mickey. Like, I don't even have Beast unlocked yet. I'm super far from that too. If Herc is really good, who could say Herc could replace Beast on a team, or Herc could
I'm really
replace
surprised.
Mickey
Yeah,
as a plug and play type character? Like, I could avoid Sensational Six completely by just going for Hercules now if I decide to run Baymax and Hero and Hercules or something like that. So like that's something definitely to think about because why I mean, Mickey's insane. I'm not saying he's not going to be good anymore, but that there's definitely the potential because you only fit five players on your roster. Like, pick the best five. Like, it could be definitely interesting to say, you know what, I'm going to skip out on Sensational Six. I'm not going for any of these characters right now because I'd rather go for Hercules and put him in my current team based on my other characters.
That is a good point, Juice. My kind of thought process and kind of why I um don't play that way specifically is because if you look at games like this, like Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, like Marvel Strike Force, those games started out where only the main team mattered and quickly turned into a your whole roster matters situation through the additional game modes. So in the short term, you're absolutely right, that strategy is going to work. But as soon as they add a game mode that requires more of your roster for a meaningful, I'm not talking Club Conquest. We all know Club Conquest rewards are bullshit. They just are. Your 1/50th of your club, so working on one team doesn't even matter. And the rewards between first and third are so small. Anyways, but as soon as a meaningful mode that requires your roster is added, having as many of those key characters that can hold a team by themselves is going to be huge. So that's kind of my thought process and why I've tried really hard to hit these key teams, because I have all my sensational 6 above 6-star, and I'm probably going to dump them for a little while, work on Hercules, and then I should have enough time to finish them up in time for Mickey. We'll see.
I'm not willing anymore. Oh, okay. Well, should I say that, or as long as there's still good lady should I say OLA deals? As long as it's good Tapjoy offers, I will continue this rampage of efficiency whaling, because now I have the original big 3, which was Beast, Baymax, and Elsa. I have them now, and I'm pretty I mean, I'm not as far as I used to be with Sensational 6. The problem is I did like the calculations. In order for me to get Daisy and Donald, it's going to take me 60 days. If there's no double drops, it's not going to happen. That's the problem.
Yeah. They are both in part 1, but even with that, you'd have to whale on part 1, which is kind of efficient whaling if they have that lowered cost again, but it's still not the best.
Exactly. But Clado, if it's definitely worth it when you can spend a couple bucks and you get like what was it, like $20? Okay, the original Oladios was like $20 for like 20,000 gems. That's like a 6-time value. So efficiency whaling, that's what I call it. If they happen to take away Tapjoy offers with this EA acquisition, I'll be very sad. I'll be so sad, because then I might become a free-to-play player.
Yeah, I might quit if they get rid of Tapjoy. Not a joke. Not even a joke.
I was gonna mention earlier too, like I kind of feel like I fit the model of like how Glue intends players to unlock legendaries lately. Because like when I look back and look at Big Hero 6, like I've said it many times. I know I repeat myself, but I didn't spend any money on Big Hero 6. I got Honey Lemon 7-star the first pass. I just focused on her. I got Baymax unlocked on the second pass, and then by the third pass, I finally got him 7-star maxed out. So for Beast, Beauty and the Beast came back a little too quick for my take, so I didn't get him unlocked this pass. I'm hoping to get him unlocked next pass, and then probably fully maxed out the pass after that. But I guess like if I start farming the characters that I feel like maybe the best, I'm casually getting them over time as free to play. And if these legendary events keep cycling through as fast as they are, I feel like I'm not too worried about it. So we'll have to kind of see exactly how it goes. Like Dragon, you said there'll be a 5 legendary rotation. That's the number you gave out.
Yeah, 5. I mean, yeah, 5 legendary, but 6 events because of part 1 and part 2 of Sensational 6. So, I think that's going to be a pretty constant rotation going through. So I mean that ensures that, of course, that Hercules is legendary, which
Yeah,
the 3 of us, I think, we're pretty in tune with that.
Yeah, I mean, everything's pointing that way, right?
Exactly.
They added Hermes. They obviously need characters.
mm-hmm.
But I'm just excited because we're already at what 100. We're just gonna break that if they add those 6 characters. Or no, like what, Hermes, and then okay, whatever.
Yeah,
that's like
6.
5-6 characters. So it's like 112 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We still have a lot of IP to go through. This game can go on for generations.
Hi, baby. I'm waiting for it.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to say too, like it's got to be tricky for whales too, because like, look, if they whale hard on Hercules event, most likely their payoff's going to return. Like they're going to get a good investment out of it. But think about the princess team. What if that becomes meta? Think about Ursula when you start getting her to 6-star, 7-star, and there's some type of oceanic meta, or she becomes plug and play. Like, yes, you can
Recently
invest a
meta.
ton in Hercules, but like, imagine if that's not the actual team that we think it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mind holding off a little bit, to be honest with you.
My like everyone, oh not everyone knows, but I know Sky. I think Juicy know too. My ultimate team is gonna be that Maurice lead with the Davy Jones and Ursula and whoever else can summon characters. That's gonna be my main PvP meme team, and I can't wait to use it. Because I don't know about you guys. I'm getting to a point in the game where I just keep on trying to chase after these legendaries, but I just kind of want to have fun and like farm who the hell I want to at this point since I already have some decent players or these decent characters.
See, the fun is farming for me.
I, I
You
want
know,
I want my Monterey Jack and my Kronk and just go through the entire PvP and
that
get to Grand Champion.
yeah, it's like I agree that everyone should do what's fun, but for me, the farming is the fun part.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, I guess I'll play the actual game now.
I have that too because like the inner gambler in me, I'm like, okay, how many Grand Campaign farm like hits am I gonna get today? Like, am I gonna get my number? And then if I don't, I get sad. If I go past it, I'm like, keep on going. It's a good day. So that's
Oh,
like,
Yeah. And the thing that's interesting for me is like I've always been like I want to focus on my main team, get them fully maxed out, get them all G8, which I have done. And
Mhm.
then now like while my team's really good, like, I was talking about earlier on stream, like this whole like Maui Moana combo where Moana's going for usually first because she gets the haste with Maui's leadership. That's a strong team right now. And like I have Moana 7-star, I have Maui 7-star gear tier 7. Like I'm close to maxing them out. So like
Mhm.
maybe I put my investment in there. Like I get them geared up. I already have a lot of gear saved up. Like maybe that team can get me to stay consistently top 10 in Sorcerer's tournament. That can keep me in champion PvP. Like maybe I don't need Hercules right off the bat to be successful, especially for someone that's casually spending and not whaling every single event. That's definitely a possibility too. Plus, I have those characters close enough already. Maybe I just roll with that if they're still viable.
yes, everyone, please run that squad, because Sheriff is so good against it. Sheriff, 'cause you start with shields, so Sheriff just kills a character at the very beginning of the game. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I have like a 50. It's like a coin flip if Sheriff steals turn meter from Moana. So the entire game is just like a coin flip at the very beginning. It's hilarious.
Like old hero meta, or
It
still
literally
kind
is
of a
like a
little bit.
coin flip. It's a rolling 30% twice.
I like so this is really random, but I like the team I've been seeing in tournament a lot is freaking. There's just one dude in my tournament shard, and he runs a Little Mermaid trio, Elsa and Anna, and I cannot get past that team. They're all geared tier 8. But that team is freaking ridiculous because he put a recovery stone on Ariel and she like heals like almost half health for that entire team when she heals, and it's just insane. I'm just like, I can never get past this freaking team. This is ridiculous. So there's fun
Wow.
combos out there you can have out there. And I finally found a use for the recoveries. I've actually no, not only did I finally find a use for it, I finally understood what the recovery stone did. Just
And honestly, like I know True memed in chat a little bit saying he hasn't lost to a sheriff with Moana Maui team, whatever. But anyways, that excites me because look, I wailed out on Oceanics when they first came out. I had Maui 7-star first pass. I had Moana 7-star first pass. Those characters weren't super meta when they first came out. They weren't incredibly amazing. They were still losing to like frozen hybrid teams. You weren't using Maui's leadership. You were using Hero's leadership for the speed and the turn one upgrade or micro barrier. Like if this becomes a thing where it sticks, like man, like I'm super excited about that because like finally it feels like my investment may have paid off a little bit if Moana gets that little hidden buff by Maui's leadership. I am super excited about that.
Good. I'm excited to see what comes with this client update. Because right, also they didn't mention anything about the fairy slumber nerf, and I am so curious about that.
is this a client
I
update?
am
Big client update? Like 15.0?
uh no, no, I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah.
14.2. I want to say
14.2.
yeah, 14.2. Correct.
You guys think we're gonna see a spell or no?
No.
Her-
No. Oh,
The problem with spells is they're impossible to game balance.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Glue quickly found out.
Well,
Right, like Slumber's breaking the game right now to make tanks that have taunt consistently too good.
Mhm.
Right, that's a large reason why I think Beast and Baymax they're gonna be great after, even if Slumber gets nerfed to the ground. But a huge benefit from them is they make Slumber worse. Like that's huge.
I know this isn't on the show sheet, but we'll kind of. I want to ask you guys this really quick before we get out of
yeah.
here. If if the Fairy Slumber nerf comes out next week, and like we don't do the podcast every week, what are some good spells to maybe run in place of Fairy Slumber? Whether you're talking PvP or Sorcerer's Tournament, like what combos do you like? What do you like running the most? To give some tips out.
Yeah. Hammer is obviously really good right now. I'm gonna say I'm gonna pick three, and that's gonna be Hammer, especially if you have Baymax, Cauldron, especially if you have Mickey, and Headless Horseman, especially if you
Damn it,
have
that's the exact same
AoE
ones.
damage dealers. Because Headless Horseman charges very slowly, so you need to have the more AoE damage dealers you have, the faster that will charge, and the more effective it will be. I also think if Slumber gets nerfed enough, you should start putting your tanks in the back.
Well, those are like the exact same ones I was gonna say. But also it depends on how they nerf Slumber. I think that's another thing to consider. It's how exactly are they nerfing Slumber, and how that will correlate into how it changes up the game. Um, I guess like some more raid oriented spells that I could tell you, because I know sometimes we'll use Fairy Slumber to try and like slow down the the raid bosses. Um, if you happen to have like a Splash Mountain level 4, what that'll do is like if you're against Glut or something like that, or, anything but Floatsman Jetsam is really effective against, because it decreases their magic um by one for of the all the abilities. So that's a good one. And also Prince John's Taxes is another good one too. It also takes down some speed meter. I believe you have level 3, but also takes away some of their magic as well. But the benefit about that one is it also doesn't attack them, so it's a full on type of like, I'm trying not to say what Sky said, but I'm also going into raids as well. That's a
Blue
different
Fairy Magic.
Blue
Blue Fairy
Fairy
Magic.
Magic.
Level 3 plus.
That does that's wait Blue Fairy, that's a cleansing one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's because Fairy Slumber, Blue Fairy Magic, I get confused with all the time, because they have fairy in them. But yeah, I guess those are some good other spells you could possibly use in raids if you wanted to, besides out of the typical, Cauldron, and what another one is Peach Shadow. That's usually in raids as well. So
I have a wish list nerf for Fairy Slumber also. So I want it to be single target, and I want the adjacents to be a 20% per princess.
like 20% chance to get
20% chance to hit each adjacent based on the number of princesses in your squad.
Kind of like Dad Pants a little bit with the
Yes,
onward characters.
exactly. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's my wish list nerf. I think it helps out a team that's very fringe viable right now. Uh, I think, I think it would do wonders for the princess squad if all of a sudden they're the only ones with the ability to use Fairy Slumber. I think that's a game changer.
Yeah, as far as spells go, I've been really high on Cauldron for a while now, like especially like after using Go-Go for a while, where she has such low magic cost spells. It feels like they're always up with Cauldron. Moana may be interesting now with more Ore, because that's a 3 magic cooldown. Like Cauldron's amazing. It's so good on defense too. Like if you can get hid behind a taunt and then you get micro barrier up on it, like Elsa can get like multiple show yourselves off if you can get lucky somehow. I think it's Cauldron's really good. I love Cauldron. Peter Shadow's really good. I just got to level 4. It's working out for me, especially with bubbles and the 3 tactics buff. And you can use it on your tanks if you need another taunter and whatnot. But yeah, if Cauldron falls out, I have a lot of spells to fall back on, especially if we don't see a new one come out. But yeah, I'm really high on Cauldron right now.
I'm high on people using Cauldron because I'm really high on Sheriff right now.
Shameless plugs.
sure.
Twitch.tv/GuyHyphen. Gonna go live in a bit.
Cool.
For me, I'm gonna try and get a Club Conquest teams vid out. I know someone's asked me for like more unique teams than basically, your Sensational Six team, your Big Hero Six team. I'm throwing some like weird combos that I think could possibly work that need testing. But yeah, that'll be hopefully up by this weekend, and also gonna do a Swaga vid as well. So that's in the near future. And check out the YouTube channel, check out Twitch and the Discord. Join the Den folk as well. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Join my Discord as well. You can type an exclamation point Discord and Twitch chat if you want. The Juice Core, it's a fun place to come hang out. I do a series every week called My Juice Talks, where I sit down with a member of my community or the DSA community. We're on episode 9 next week. I haven't revealed who my guest is, but I'm going to do it over the weekend. You can also go to my YouTube channel and watch those later if you want to listen to it like a podcast. Finally, Disney discussion starts tomorrow. We'll be reviewing not Beauty and the Beast, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's just we're going to go over the movie, review it, have some fun with it. It's a little bit of a breath of fresh air since we do DSA so much around the community. So we'll be doing that starting tomorrow at 8:00 Eastern. Come check it out on Twitch. So yeah.
So that's it, everyone. So thank you guys for coming out for episode 7. We did go a little bit off topic, or at least off like the schedule, but I think we kept it in good correlation with what we were actually talking about, which is nice. And we had to go more in depth of our thoughts and whatnot, which was nice. So anyways, guys, thank you so much. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks for episode 8. Have a good one, guys.